It's March 2024. Everyone's glazing Frieren and the Apothecary Diaries, that bridge in Baltimore collapsed, and a new crop of anime was about to drop. Of all the new shows that gained positive press quickly, Girls Band Cry was a diamond in the rough. Those who watched it wouldn't shut up about it. It suddenly became a dark horse candidate for Anime of the Year, the key phrase being those who watched it. For all the hype it was getting, Girls Band Cry wasn't available anywhere. Legally. As weeks turned into months, fans continued to clamor, and we still don't know why that was the case. You could chalk it up to anything, from Toei not being able to get any streamer to pick up the show, or Toei just being stupid, or maybe both. But the masses finally got to watch the show when it became available for purchase on the Microsoft Store, Fandango, and Prime Video in August. The masses finally got to watch the show when it became available to stream on Crunchyroll in November. With that, what about this show hit home with viewers? I don't know. Look, I gave it an honest shot and I don't get it. It's such an ambitious show, but there's so much holding it back with you know what? Let me try it again. Okay, I think I get it now. We are in the era of the girl band right now. Angel Beats in 2010 was a spark to the flame, paving the way for K-On!, Show by Rock, Bocchi the Rock, Bang Dream It's My Go, Bang Dream Ave Musica. Bandai kinda owns the market right now. The typical girl band franchise is stacked with bangers and stories about girls enjoying band life and having a good time. Girls Band Cry is kinda the antithesis to this. It is rock and roll from its story to its characters to even the music itself. Where most other shows are about the joys of being in a band, Girls Band Cry flips the script with a story about people trying to battle tough circumstances and trust that their endurance will pay off. They don't sing to find their voice. They sing to make their voices heard. Girls Band Cry, or Garakura, is a music multimedia project from Toei. They looked at the already established music multimedia franchise market and said, let's take all the money. To get that money, they approached Tadashi Hirayama, someone who had a lengthy background at Sunrise producing Love Live projects and had joined Toei Animation in August of 2019. Hirayama then reached out to some of his colleagues from his Love Live days to work on the project, including Kazuo Sakai to direct and Juki Hanada to write. Hirayama didn't know what this music project was going to look like specifically, but he did know that he wanted to focus on the hardships of being a musician, particularly influenced by the struggles of COVID's ongoing presence, including the economic toll the Olympics took on Tokyo. Hanada is a guy that had written a lot of good screenplays, and given his experience with all-female music projects, he wanted to lean on that experience and go the girl band route. So, girl bands it was. Regardless of what direction they took, this project was something new for Toei. Everyone knows Toei as defined by their properties centered around children. Dragon Ball, One Piece, Sailor Moon, Pretty Cure, a grounded, more realistic story isn't something that Toei usually does. But they are one of the big four film companies in Japan, so they have the reach to do it right. They worked with Universal Music Japan and Akea Springs, the latter having produced acts like Ikimonogatari, AKB48, Flow, and a lot more, to help realize this project's potential. In June 2021, this joint venture was officially made public, and that it, like Bang Dream, would combine real-life band activity with animated work. The trio launched the Girls Rock Audition to find a vocalist, guitarist, bassist, drummer, and keyboardist to make their major debut as a group with Universal Music under the management and production of Akea Springs and play their roles in Toei's new music anime. The audition itself saw over 1,000 applicants. Although plenty had talent either as musicians or as voice actors, it was hard to find candidates that were proficient at both. Finding 5 young women that struck the balance led this process to take a year and a half. Meanwhile, Toei released a teaser visual in April of 2023 announcing the anime for the project with a name, Girls Band Cry. Shortly after, the trio settled on their 5 girls and released the first set of songs, as well as properly introducing the members of this new band, Togenashi Togeari. Following some promotion, Girls Band Cry officially premiered in April 2024 as part of the Spring 2024 season, and despite the bizarre fact that it couldn't be viewed internationally other than Korea, Thailand, and fucking France, the reception was overwhelmingly positive. Through all the hiccups over the 5-year road from conception to anime release, Girls Band Cry found a fan base and a foothold in the music anime space. So now that it's here, what is Girls Band Cry? What is Togenashi Togeari? And what does this show do that speaks to people? The show starts with this girl moving from the country to Tokyo, Kinda. More specifically, she's headed to Kawasaki, a city located in Kanagawa, the prefecture just south of Tokyo. The decision for this setting was made by Hirayama and Hanada based on their observations of Kawasaki, noting that it was an overlooked city compared to bigger cities like Tokyo and Yokohama that were right by it. The rent was cheaper, and there was a special manner in how the city fostered its music scene. Those factors allowed for the characters in the story to take advantage of a smaller scale environment. It might be smaller than Tokyo, but Nina still struggles to adapt to this life before hearing a familiar song that reels her back in.
やけに白いんだやたら長いんだ答えは大体形ばっかりの常識
She meets Momoka, who's just trying to make ends meet as a musician and apparently had a huge impact on Nina. She helps Nina out as she tries to find her way, setting up a cute dynamic between these two. The next day, Nina finds out that Momoka is heading back home and giving up on music entirely, to which Nina literally flips off the idea and essentially tells Momoka, "Fuck this shit, we're gonna try anyway," and it works. This is a sentiment that Girls Band Cry carries itself with. This entire show revolves around Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it probably will, and it won't be in favor of the girls or the band. But here they are, still trying anyway. You've got this theme prevalent throughout the entire show's run, and as Nina and Momoka run into others that end up rounding out the band, they all bring their own backgrounds filled with struggles of their own. But it's in spite of those struggles that they're still trying to stay on their path, to prove that they weren't wrong and that their decisions will pay off. And each of the five bring their own stories to the table. There's Subaru, a talented young actress who's got a soft, friendly exterior, but she's fueled by her own competitive nature. She's trying to build her own legacy while simultaneously following the footsteps of her grandmother, who was a ludicrously successful actor in her day. Subaru carries that chip on her shoulder as she tries to pave the way for the kind of talent that she wants to be. Being the band's drummer is that outlet for her to go all out and do her best, and that spirit carries her character in what she wants to achieve. Tomo is a gifted pianist that left her prominent family and is trying to make ends meet with part-time jobs. She doesn't play well with others, but that's because she puts herself and the people around her to such a high standard. It's something that didn't work out well in the band she was previously in, and the fact that that standard she forced herself to achieve wasn't reciprocated previously crushed her. Getting roped into Togenashi Togeari not only gave her a second shot of being part of a band, but it's also an opportunity for her to open up and start healing. Rupa lives with Tomo and is also the band's bassist. She's Tomo's polar opposite, candidly open and outgoing. She has a strong, mature presence despite bearing some serious burdens, including facing discrimination for being half South Asian and losing her family in a car accident and turning to alcohol to cope.
いただきますストップです少しだけルパの少しは少しじゃないし
In the face of that flaw, though, she still strives to be strong for the band around her and anybody she might come across. They all add something to the band beyond just their sound, but it's Momoka and Nina that are far and away the stars of the show. Nina is defined by how immature she is. Remember that she dropped out of high school to try and start fresh. She's only 17, and it's not like she knows anything about how to approach things, and her own temper gets the better of her more often than not. Though that immaturity is a weakness, she tries to make up for it with her passion for music. And that passion ends up alleviating a lot of the stress she's dealing with in Kawasaki. She's fueled by 1, being in a strict household that she felt isolated in, and 2, getting bullied in high school. Those two factors prompted her to move away and claim a life that's wholly hers. She keeps with the mantra that she'll prove that she wasn't wrong and that she's right to be on this path. Regardless of how her naivety holds her back, that resolve is what inspires her bandmates to shape their destinies on their own terms. No person does this impact more than Momoka. She's chill and straightforward while caring for the people around her, especially Nina, whose passion to make something of herself through music strikes a chord with Momoka. See, she formed the band Diamond Dust with some high school friends back in the day, sure that if they tried, they'd hit it big. That opportunity did come, but to Momoka, it would have been selling out. A difference of opinion that led her to part ways with the rest of Diamond Dust. Despite her cool exterior, she's clearly scared to commit to Togenashi Togeari as a long-term thing. Having seen her dream fall apart once before, she doesn't want to put herself through that again. But Nina keeps pulling her along, and it was a song that Momoka wrote that brought Nina to Kawasaki in the first place. These two are at odds constantly, which is a matter of Nina's inexperience and fire against Momoka's experience and hesitance. There's a fire festering beneath both of them that ends up kindling because of the bond that they share. everything that these characters go through is brought out in their music, and the performances that they give, oh my god!
生きていく理由ってやつを誰か教えて早く終わりなんてさいくらでも転がってんだ
Every single performance is constructed brilliantly. Lighting, framing, camera movement, character acting, there was clearly a lot of thought that went into these sequences. And it even fits with motifs from the show. In general, the animation doesn't always hit. There are some moments where I'm asking, what the hell am I looking at? But the presentation of the show hits when it's firing on all cylinders. It's able to convey the show's themes and its character struggles through sequences with thorough imagery that paint pictures based on feelings Girls Band Cry wants to convey. This is true both in normal scenes and the performances. For instance, when Nina talks about her past, there's a dark aura that emits around her. So when they perform Nameless Name, a song that speaks on Nina's spiraling state, that aura goes absolutely batshit and it adds a flair to the scene that elevates it. On that note, the song themselves, they all kick ass. The music was done by Kenji Tamai, who helped work on the song Polaris, which was used for My Hero Academia, and he's going off here. With every song's inclusion in the show, it fits with what's going on and how the characters feel at that point in time. It gives those songs extra weight in how they connect with the story. The whole discography reflects the themes of the story, the emotional load these characters, particularly Nina, face, that it just fucking...
そんなカルテ魂をプカプカ浮かんでどこに行こう
The music of Girls Band Cry is its crown jewel, and the element that shines brightest in the show. It ties together everything that this show stands for, and it being a candidate for Anime of the Year in the minds of many is valid because of that. But for all the things that make this anime great, there are some things that hold it back. Beginning the fact with, while I love the fact that the show tries to juggle difficult topics with fun group sequences, I don't think they strike the balance super well, and it often leads to a tonal clash. There are times where I want to dive deeper and care about the stories of these characters, but being pulled away from it as much as I was led me to not appreciating the story in the way Toei might have wanted me to. In comparison, Bang Dream It's My Go gets a lot of baggage of its main cast out of the way by introducing them early and building them up before allowing them to go out and have fun as a group. Girls Band Cry was trying to have both at once, and while I appreciated that, I think the balance was maybe more than the show could handle. Second, the characters and concept are great. However, we aren't actually introduced formally to Tomo and Rupa until around the halfway point of the show's run. They're fucking background characters before that point. And consequentially, it's hard to really get attached to them in their arcs in the same way it was for Nina, Momoka, and even Subaru. Who are you again? Also, for this being a music anime with some really good songs, the background music just kind of sounds like stock music garbage. The Ford Ranger is the truck you need to take on any terrain. My last major complaint is that while being lost in the sauce for a good portion of the show's runtime with the mood clashing more than it should, episode 11 actually caps it all off with an emotional performance with probably the best song in the entire show. And then there's 2 more episodes after that. God, this show loses all of its momentum at the end, and ultimately I ended both of my watches not really satisfied. Like, sure, the story goes on, but I'm not fulfilled by that fact at all. Because of these issues, particularly with the pacing, it led me just waiting for whenever the next musical sequence was going to happen, because those were so good that I just wanted more of that. Those performances are all available on YouTube officially, so it makes me wonder why I'd go back and watch the whole series when I could just watch those. People are calling this one of, if not the best music anime ever made. Look, the music is incredible, the tippy top of any music anime you could find. But as far as the execution of its story and themes, regardless of how intriguing those ideas are, the lack of a more airtight execution of that aspect holds it back for me. All that being said, don't let those gripes make you think that I believe this show doesn't have any merit. I think the fact that so many people have been able to resonate with it is a beautiful thing. The experience of getting let down is universal. You know what it's like to see a relationship you really cared about fall apart, to get turned down from a job you thought you were the perfect fit for, or when someone writes you off when you know you're not done, to be bullied, that nobody will be able to connect with you, to feel like no matter how hard you try, the hardships you face are insurmountable. I've been there, and I think everyone watching has been let down like this or in any other way imaginable. But we forge ahead with a shit happens attitude, trying to push for something we really want. Girls Band Cry is exactly that. It brings this group together to reflect the need to stay determined in a world that constantly disappoints us. And it's not like the series itself isn't dealing with its own woes. Natsu and Mirai both went on indefinite hiatus due to their health in July of 2024, so Tokunashi Tokoyari's ability to function as a group has already been hindered big time. Also, because of the financial strain the anime had on the project, outside of 2 compilation movies that were recently announced, not even the people in charge of the project know if the anime will continue after that. But there's still plans to continue the band's story through both lives and a mobile game that was announced in August 2024. Fuck, they really do want to take over the entire market. Auditions for a new band are currently being held, but the game, like it was for Bang Dream, very well might make or break the future of this series. Yeah, I know this is like the second or third time I've compared the series to Bang Dream, but it applies in the fact that this is the early days of a music multimedia franchise that may or may not see long-term success. But it very well could. Make no mistake, this isn't Bang Dream, this isn't K-On!, this isn't Bocchi, this isn't like any other girl band media that we've seen before. This is a series that speaks to those that feel like they don't have a voice. People that, regardless of circumstances, are just trying to do their best and fight for their tomorrow. This series has turned out a story, characters, and incredible music that speaks on the underdog mentality that rock and roll is all about. The soul of rock and roll, a genre that at its heart is defined by anti-authority and artists that wanted their voices heard, is the backbone of Girls Band Cry. It's a reminder that your voice isn't truly diminished unless you give up entirely, so keep singing.
チゲだ、ファンキーだ、みんな黙って俺についてこい、チゲだ、ファンキーだ、みんな必死で俺についてこい、カモン、チゲだ、ファンキーだ、みんな黙って俺についてこい、チゲだ、ファンキーだ、